Since it's heat shell, it does pen angles pretty well. But here's the thing though, it does pen angles pretty well, so that means M4A3 105 Shermans, C122s and maybe even T34s at 3.3, you're definitely going to punch through those armor very easily. Turn the gun, you stupid piece of work! Stop it. They bumped this thing down to 2.0 and the Panzer 38TF is 2.3. Like, guys, this thing is scarier than the Panzer 38T, man. Hey guys, it's Jim here and welcome back to War Thunder. Today, we are checking out a tank that's probably have the highest death count versus kill count. This is the Panzer 4F1 with a very stubby 75mm. Now let me break it down to you and you'll see why this tank is actually a bigger threat than it looks. Now first things first, armor. 50mm front, 80mm front, 50mm front. So this means that you don't die to 50 cals that easily. 50 caliber machine guns, sometimes autocannon from other anti-air guns can't really penetrate that easily, which is good news. But the bad news is that 50mm is not the most protective thing ever, owing to the fact that you will be facing guns like the M6 37mm on the Stuarts, the 45mm 20k cannon, as well as the British 2-pounder 40mm. They can penetrate this at any range, which is an issue. So that's something to be careful of. I say that, watch me bounce a few rounds, mainly due to the fact that they keep shooting this. Like, just why, guys? Just why? Otherwise, everything else is pretty much standard. 30mm sights, 50 cals can definitely shred you, but only at close range. And yeah, 30mm rear, 20mm rear, and your roof armor is basically non-existent. So if there's any low tier 50 calibers, don't be surprised that they can shred you. But all in all, lack of armor doesn't mean it's the end of the world. You have a pretty good top speed and a pretty good engine power, so that means you can build up the top speed pretty quickly. And the fact that you have Osketten, so that means off-road you can actually drive a lot quicker. Now moving on, this is the part that really scares me. This is the 75mm KWK-37 cannon. And why does this scare me? Well, let me show you. When you pick up the Panzer 4 with the Stubby 75mm for the first time, you're definitely going to struggle a little bit. Mainly because this is a stock shell. Armor-piercing cap ballistic cap shell with explosive filler, but you only pen up to 52mm of armor at point blank. And you do lose armor penetration over range a little bit rapidly, as well as your muzzle velocity and your effective range is kinda bad. But should you actually penetrate 18 grams of explosive mass, meaning that you can one-shot almost anything you look at pretty easily, just be a bit careful when you face light tanks, because even though 14mm of armor in fuse sensitivity, it's actually not too bad, but this is low tier though. If you come across a site, don't be surprised if you overpen. So if you struggle a lot with this thing, what I suggest is when you grind this thing, after you get past an FPE, straight away go for the heat shell. The first heat shell that you use is this one. 18mm of penetration, which is definitely a huge step up from the APCBC, as well as a very good angle of penetration. Just be a bit careful that it does behave a little bit like a solid armor piercing round. So instead of shooting center mass, try to shoot for crewmen directly instead. You have a better chance that way. And after some time, you should be able to start grinding the second heat shell. Second heat shell pens up to 100mm, and this is where it gets scary. You see, doesn't seem like it's a lot, right? 100mm of armor penetration at any range. And since it's heat shell, it does pen angles pretty well. But here's the thing though, it does pen angles pretty well, so that means M4A3 105 Shermans, C122s and maybe even T34s at 3.3, you're definitely going to punch through those armor very easily with this shell, which is why it's actually pretty damn scary. And another reason is because the other aspects of the gun, you have about 4 seconds reload base. Right now I see 3 seconds, but that's because I'm running expert crew on. But yeah, you get the idea. About 4 seconds reload, if you shot, they can pen Shermans and T-34s from the front at any range. So yeah, that's how scary this thing really is. Negative tank gun depression and targeting speed is not bad. Only problem is that you don't have a gun stabilizer, but that's not a big deal. So if you want my advice about loading out your tank, for me what I do is I run armor piercing cap, ballistic cap shell, so if I come across a light tank, I can definitely one-shot them from the front pretty easily. And if I come across something heavier or if I get up tiered, that's when the heat shell comes in. But if you don't like this setup, you can always just run heat shell only. There's nothing wrong with that. Just be careful that heat shells don't really like obstacles. Yeah, I mean bushes and trees, it just becomes add-on armor. Now, enough about the tank. Let's get into battle and hopefully we can do well enough that this tank goes back up to 2.3 where it belongs.
Captured most of the strategic zones.
Oh dear. Yeet. Oof.
Allied forces have captured a zone. Attention to the designated grid zone.
The heck are you doing?
Die Geschütze sind in Position.
Oh, light tank behind him. I can't tell what it is.
Attention to the map.
No scalping like that, bro. Why does your engine noises sound like a steward? You're not the guy I'm worried about.
Attention to the map. forces have captured a zone.
Artillerie, Koordinaten bestätigen.
There you go, buddy.
Mercy.
Feuer in Kampf auf!
So, how's it going?
Einen Artillerieschlag angefordert.
Hey!
If we don't do something fast, the enemy will win. I agree. We're winning.
Die Schütz geladen.
Enemy forces have captured a zone.
Thank you very much.
Attention to the designated grid square.
Excellent.
Why would you do that, dude?
Geladen.
Keep it up, and victory will be ours.
Oh, yes, guys.
Need cover!
Is he going now?
Most of the zones are under control. Allied forces have captured a zone.
There we go.
Attention to the map. Attention to the designated grid square.
Enemy forces have captured a zone.
Fertig.
Wollen wir wieder Cover? Ist noch pleasantly to be. Go, overpressure.
Feuer bereit. Panzergranate laden.
Get off our spawn, asshole.
Allied forces have captured a zone.
Laden.
Attention to the designated grid square. Attention to the designated grid square.
Allied forces have captured a zone.
Ziel zerstört.
Stay high, buddy, stay high.
The enemy is winning.
Attention to the designated grid zone. Attack the A point.
Allied forces have captured a zone. Enemy forces have captured a zone.
It's just nasty. Where was that?
Attack the A point.
There you go. Overpressure.
The enemy is winning.
Stop it.
Need backup! Enemy forces have captured a zone.
Fire.
Geladen.
Oh, turn the gun, you stupid piece of work.
The enemy is winning. We must counterattack.
Wir brauchen Artillerieunterstützung.
Stop it. You're welcome.
Attention to the map. Attention to the map.
You're welcome again. Turn the gun. Can't win everything, man.
Attention to the map. Attention to the map.
Attention to the designated grid zone.
Our victory is near.
Thank you very much.
Das Geschütz laden.
Attention to the designated grid zone.
Vorne der Artillerieschlag an.
We've captured most of the strategic zones.
A little more effort, and victory will be ours. close.